This video is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal or tax advice. Tax rules can change, and individual situations vary. How much tax do freelancers really pay in the UK? Not what people think they pay, not what they fear they'll pay, but what actually happens in real life. Because most freelancers either underestimate tax or overestimate it completely. Let's start with the biggest misunderstanding. Freelancers are not taxed on income, they're taxed on profit. Profit is what's left after allowable business expenses. But many freelancers mentally treat everything they earn as taxable. That assumption alone creates unnecessary stress and poor planning. Once profit is calculated, income tax is applied using tax bands. Only the portion of profit within each band is taxed at that rate. This short video explains the UK tax bands clearly.
But of course what that does mean is the rate above 12,570 is 20%. So every pound you earn above that, you take home 80p after income tax. There's also national insurance, but we're keeping it simple. I'm going to ignore that. Now you continue to pay that 20% rate until typically earnings of £50,270 a year. Once you hit that, above that, the tax rate is 40%. So then, every pound you earn, 40 pence is taken off, you take home 60 pence, but remember that's only on above the threshold. Now you would think that continues until the tax rate is increased again, which happens and the last tax threshold is at £125,000, but it doesn't. Because something funny happens once you start to earn 100 grand, if you're lucky enough to. Once you get to £100,000, you start to lose your personal allowance. Remember that £12,570 that you can earn tax-free? Once you hit £100,000, each pound over you go, you start to lose the personal allowance. And what that effectively means is from earnings from £100,000 to around £125,000, your effective tax rate is 60%. In other words, for every pound you earn in that threshold, you only take home 40p.
Now let's talk about national insurance. Most freelancers pay Class 2 and Class 4 national insurance. This catches people out because they assume a personal contract automatically means not deductible. These aren't optional, and they're often forgotten when people estimate tax. This is where many freelancers feel the bill jumps. Freelancers don't pay tax as they earn. Tax is usually paid after the tax year ends, through self-assessment. Which means the first tax bill often feels much larger than expected. Some freelancers are also asked to make payments on account. This isn't extra tax, it's an advance toward future tax. But without understanding this, it feels like being taxed twice. So how much tax do freelancers really pay? There is no single percentage. Most freelancers don't pay too much tax. They just don't plan for when it's due. Once you understand how the pieces fit together, tax becomes predictable, not frightening. If you want simple explanations that remove confusion, subscribe to Simply Explained Studio. We break down tax and legal topics clearly, so you can make informed decisions.